Welcome to this Code NRL special edition. Michael Carianis, Brent Reid, and Reedy. We've taken some time to dissect our top 50 players in the game. You've done your list. I've done my list. There's some surprises. Our number one player is different. So it's going to be really interesting. We're going to have a debate now to see which top 50 is better. Reedy, how'd you find doing it?
I found it fun, Mick.
What was your process?
I sat down and I went through each club.
We did this sitting next to each other in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas on the way back.
Yep.
And I wrote down the players from each club that I thought were in contention.
Yep.
Then I did a top 10, top 20, and then worked out the rest. Is that how you did it?
No, I did two lists. I looked at all the team lists and all the players, and I did my definites.
Yeah.
And I think I got to around 38
Yep.
definites of players. Okay, they're definitely in my top 50,
Yep.
unranked.
Yep.
And then I did another list of maybes, which was about 20.
Okay.
And then I weeded that down, got the 50, and then I worked out my list in order. Okay. So yeah, a little bit different to the way we did it. And talking of differences, our top fives a little bit different. You want to run your 1 to 5 in order.
Okay, my 1 to 5 was this. I found this really hard, but I went with Reece Walsh at number 1, Cleary at 2, Harry Grant at 3, Payne Haas at 4, and then my man KP Kalyn Ponga at 5. Yeah.
Wow. So 4 of the 5 we've got the same.
Yep.
My number 1, Nathan Cleary. My number 2, Payne Haas.
Oh wow.
My number 3, Harry Grant. My 4, Reece Walsh. 5, Cam Munster.
Yeah.
So why Reece at number 1? Well, it's obvious, right?
Look, if you went via the last 5 years, 10 years, it's Nathan Cleary, right?
Yep.
He's been the best player in the game for basically nearly a decade, right? But I based it largely to an extent when I made this decision on last year and what Reece did last year and the way he almost single-handedly won Brisbane a grand final. That's what I based it on. Look, if you can ask me at the end of this, or over the past, who's been the most consistent and the best player over a longer period, it's Nathan, right? Because he's just been unbelievable for Penrith. But I based this decision in particular, on right now after last year. I think Reece is the best player in the game.
Why Kalyn in your 5?
Because I think when Kalyn's fit and healthy, he's one of the best players in rugby league. On his day, he's arguably the best player in rugby league. And we saw him in Vegas, man. He was astonishing. He was brilliant for Newcastle. But I've always liked Kalyn as a footballer, and that's why. That's one I've probably contradicted myself there, right? Because I've based Reece on last year. But Kalyn, I've based on a longer time.
Well, but that's the thing about this. It's not a set stone. We're not looking at the top 50 players from last year, and we're not really even predicting the top 50 players in 2026, right? It's the combination of their history, their potential, their future, and
we also, Mick, have there's players we really like, like to watch, and like the way they play the game. And it's like Latrell, man. I love watching Latrell, and I love. Him as a footballer. I love watching Kalyn. I love the way he plays the game. So that plays a part as well.
Well, both those two blokes outside my top 10, and we'll get to that. But
why did you have Reece so low?
At 4?
4, yeah.
4's not low. I wouldn't consider 4 low.
You had him below Harry and Payne.
Yeah.
And I had Harry at 3 and Payne at 4, but you had Reece.
Yeah.
I would argue that Nathan and Reece are split hair between them.
For mine, it's the consistency, longevity. Rather than, we've seen some players, and we've seen it in the past, like Jared Hayne and Tom Trbojevic, where they ignite. And, Kalyn, when he won at LM, can they sustain it the next season? It's very difficult. So I took that into account, and I banked on consistency. With those top 3 players, Cleary, Haas, Grant, they're arguably the most consistent players in the competition.
Yeah. Right?
So that's probably where my difference is. You've gone for a little bit more X factor, and I've gone for a little bit more consistency. I've got Mitch Moses at 6, James Tedesco at 7. Very hard to leave them out of my top 5. 2 players you talk about players that you love watching. They're 2 of my favourites.
Well, I had Mitch at 6 as well. I had Teddy a bit lower, and probably unfairly, right? But as I said, I think I had Steve Crichton above him, who I think it's just been unbelievable for the Bulldogs in transforming that club. Latrell above him, and I explained why I had Latrell above him, and then Munster and Hughes. But I could have had Teddy higher. It was just the way it panned out.
Some of the huge discrepancies in our list. You mentioned Latrell. You've got him at 8.
Yeah.
I've got him at 16. Nicho Hynes, you've got him at 25. I've got him at 48.
Yeah.
Sam Walker, you've got him at 21.
Yeah.
I've got him at 42. And Kalyn Ponga, you've got him at 5.
Yeah.
I've got him at 11. So I guess the Latrell and Kalyn ones, you've gone for upside and what they can do at their best.
Yes.
I've probably been a little bit more reserved given their... there's no doubt if we're doing potentially the top 10 players or you know, the players who could be the best on their day, they're probably in the top 10 in terms of talent, right? But I've taken into account Latrell hasn't played 20-plus games ever for South, and Kalyn's struggled last year to stay on the paddock. So I think that's why they're so
Sammy
different.
Walker's a bit like that, right? I've based it on, Sammy at his best, he's a match winner. Bloke capable of winning games for the Roosters, but he's had injuries, little flashes of inconsistency that probably you took into account with him,
Yeah, I've gone for more consistency than I think you have, and which is why I've gone Nicho Hynes at 48. Yeah, that's a huge difference. Yeah. It is harsh. Yeah, it probably is a bit harsh on reflection.
Yeah,
but I don't think he was great last year, Nicho, and he hasn't been able to live up to the form which saw him win the Dally M a couple of years ago. Yeah. So,
and I'd probably base that to an extent on that year, right, when he won the Dally M, and just I think Nicho at times gets, and I'm as harsh as anyone on the Sharks halves, right? I think Nicho at times gets judged pretty harshly, but I still think he's an elite footballer who's in the top 25 players in the comp on his day. And again, Mick, I've gone for that on what they can do on their day.
Well, I
think he can do stuff. He can do some damage.
This is why this player was the toughest to rank for mine. Tom Trbojevic.
Yeah,
I've got the Manly captain at 14, behind the likes of Ponga, Brayley, who we both have. Where did you have Brayley?
I had him at 14.
Yeah, I got him at 12, so pretty high. Adam Fanua-Blake, and then Tom Trbojevic at 14. And this sort of contradicts my other players, right? Because I've played it safe with Latrell and Kalyn in a way, and haven't really reflected on their potential upside. I've taken into account.
Yeah.
But for mine, I've just got this sense this is going to be Tommy's breakthrough year.
Well, he's top 3
if he gets
when he's at his best. Don't you think? Top 3 in the game.
So are we being conservative with him at, what do you have him ranked?
I had him at 12.
I've got him at 14. Are we being conservative?
Well, we are. We're basing it on recent years, and Tommy's obviously had some injury problems. But if Tommy's fit and plays like he can, he's arguably number 1, Mick, because he's that influential on his footy club. I mean, there's a split hair between Nathan and Tommy when Tommy's at his best, playing like he can, but he wins games single-handedly. So it's going to be interesting where I imagine we'll revisit this at the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be really interesting where we've got Tommy.
100% we will. We'll sit down and...
If he plays 20 games, Manly make the 8, he'll be top 3.
Latrell probably top 5. Kalyn top, So who did you find the hardest to rank? I think it was Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards was really difficult. I didn't have Dylan Edwards. Oh, no, I had him at 40, sorry.
You know what?
40. Mick, I forgot him originally. Yeah, completely forgot about him. And then I saw your list and I held Dylan Edwards. But I had him at 40. I mean, he's coming off, I thought he had a pretty average year last year. And he's a very good footballer, Dylan Edwards. Please, I'm not criticising him in any way.
So you had him at 40.
Yeah.
I got Nicho Hynes at 48.
Yeah.
There's not a huge difference between those spots.
No, but I think it feels to me like Dylan Edwards, it's a huge year for Dylan Edwards because I thought at times last year he looked a little bit worn down, fatigued.
He looked tired, yeah, of course. It's been a big few seasons for him. They've been up.
I think it's a huge year for Dylan Edwards. And I've based it a lot on last year rather than the past. Look, if you base on the past, as I said, 8 years, he's probably top 20.
Well, I got him at 23.
Yeah, but I based it on a lot on last year. I thought he was a bit down last year.
I totally agree.
As I said, I completely forgot about him.
Because if you did this list heading into last season, he's probably top 15.
Yeah, yes.
Right, and so he slid to me to 23, and you've slid him into the 40s. So, really interesting year for Dylan Edwards. And we talk about boom or bust. You've gone young. You've gone real young.
I've got Galvin in there.
Tell us, so you've got Lockie Galvin, Ethan Strange, Keanu Kinney. Yeah. Where do you have them? I don't have any of them on my list. So where do you have them?
So I had Strange at 28, Galvin at 30, and I had Keanu Kinney at 45. And look, to an extent, they're upside players, but Ethan Strange had a great year last year. He went away with the Australian team.
Definitely.
He had a fantastic year. And he's the lead footballer in a team that played in the finals and probably should have made a grand final, right? If they win that first game against Brisbane in the finals, I think they made the grand final Canberra. Could have won a comp. So I think Ethan Strange deserves to be in this list. Galvin's a bit of an upside play. I think he could have a huge year for Canterbury. And then Keanu Kinney, I know he missed a lot of footy last year.
Oh, he was one on my list.
But mate, he's a player.
He was one on my list. He was certainly one on my list, and one I was agonising about putting in. So where did you have him ranked? I'll tell you who I've got in those slots. Where did you have him
ranked? So I
had
Strange at 28.
I got Hamaso at 28.
I had Hammer at 34. I got Galvin at 30.
30. I've got Api Coruscant.
I think Appy was 51 for me.
51?
He was 51. And I got Keanu Kinney at 45.
45, I've got Jacob Preston. Oh, no, that's you've got.
I got Preston at 44.
So I got Jacob Preston at 45. Yeah, 45, Jacob Preston. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, look, the Galvin one in particular is a bit of an upside play for me because I think, we've seen the talent, we've seen the flashes of it, and I reckon with a full pre-season under his belt at Canterbury, I think he'll kick on this year.
So you've gone young.
Yeah.
I haven't gone I don't have any of those players in mind.
No.
And as I said, I got
How did you leave out Ethan Strange?
I've got Api Coruscant 30. Yeah. You don't have him
30?
On your list. Yeah,
okay,
you don't have him on your list.
Yeah.
I've got Daly Cherry Evans, who you don't have on your list.
No, I left Daly out.
I've got him at 32. How is DCE not on your list?
Well, I didn't think he had a great year last year, DCE. I didn't think he was at his best. And by the end of the year, if he has a good year at the Roosters, he'll be back in my top 50, I imagine. But I thought he had a difficult year, and it feels to me like he's at it doesn't feel to me. He is at the back end of his career.
Of course he is, yeah.
So, as I said, if DCE has a big year, he'll be in my top 50, but I've left him out based on last year.
And the other veteran I've got is Cody Walker. I've got Cody Walker at 47. One slot ahead of Nico Hines.
Yeah.
I've just got his injury run up until last year, he had a golden run in terms of injuries, and I know he's getting some old man injuries last year, which is a concern. But I feel like the way Souths are tracking that left edge, feel like he's gonna he's at 47. I think he could finish in the year in the top 30. Cody Walker.
Okay, that's probably fair if he has a big year and stays fit. Yeah.
So a bit of a difference there. So there's 3 youngsters that you've got in, and I don't, and I've got 3 veteran players that you don't have in. So it's different the way we've gone about this. What about some of your omissions?
Well, Api was a big one. That was a really difficult one for me to leave Api out because he is elite. He's an elite player, right? The other interesting one's Ali Katoa.
Yes.
I don't have Ali in there because he's not going to play this year. But Ali is top 50 player in the NRL. So
I can understand.
He was a difficult one to rank.
I can understand why you didn't put him in. Yeah. I've got him in at 43.
Okay.
He's probably top 25.
Yes.
Top 30. Definitely top 30, I'd say, blindly looking. If he's playing. So, I can understand why you don't have him on your list, but I've got him. Player that I've left out, Angus Crichton. Where did you have him?
I had him at 50.
50,
He scraped in Angus.
You speak about players that sort of tapered at the back end of last year. I don't think he was able to. But I probably went for Jacob Preston over Angus Crichton. If you sit down and you look at my list, that's probably one where I was tossing up.
I'll tell you the other bloke you've left out. Big Dave, the wrecking ball for feeder.
Yeah.
Did you think about it or not?
No, he was on my maybe list, but it shows the way we live our lives, Reedy. Yeah. I'm a little bit more conservative. I like money in the bank, right? I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean? You're a little bit more...
I'm mad.
Bit looser, right?
I'm in 47, Big Dave.
But I can understand why you have him in your list, right? I don't think it's a clanger that he's in there, right? Yeah. But, I've gone for Jacob Preston, a guy that you're getting this sort of thing. You know who I really wanted to put in that I just couldn't find a spot for? Dylan Lucas.
Oh, he's a good player.
He was one where I'm like, come on, let's find a way. Let's get him in.
Can you remember another one I've got in that you left out? Yeah. Again, it's the big, flashy Mark Nwanga Tawazi.
Again, fair play. He's electric, right? And on his day, he's amazing. A couple of handling errors, a couple of, I don't know if the Ashes is in my mind with him as well. I don't think he had a great tour at the back end of the year. But, where did you have him, right?
I had him in 46.
Yeah.
He scraped in. He's coming off a great year, Mark. He's flashy, he's electric.
I got Luke Metcalf on my
I
list.
like a showman.
Do you have Luke
I left
Metcalf
Luke
on your
Metcalf
list?
out.
Yeah.
And again, he's a guy who at the end of the year will probably be on the list because he was having a great year last year until he got injured. But I left him out.
I got him at 46, just ahead of Cody Walker and Nico Hines. So there's three halves that I've gone in a row there. Jaden Sewell's another one I had on my list. So you look at your back rollers that you had. You know, you had David Fafita. Again, I've gone for a guy that I like, that I feel like I could trust.
Yeah. He was on my. I had him on my more extended list. I set up he was 51. Jaden was probably 52, right?
The extended squad, they're 18th, 19th man, they're ready to go.
Can we do a top 60 next time?
No.
I mean, he was a guy I had on the potential list, and in the end, I overlooked him, and I probably shouldn't have, Jaden. I apologise, but yeah, not everyone can make the cut, Mick.
No, they can't. You're ruthless, mate. You're ruthless. One guy that you talk about youngsters, and I really like this inclusion of yours, young Tolo Kula.
Oh, he's such a good footballer.
You've got him at 49.
Yeah. He's not on your list?
He's not on my list.
Man,
he's not on my list. But of all the youngsters that you have on there,
he's the one.
Kinney and Kohler were the two where I'm like, yeah, they're the ones I'd love to put on there. So that's a really good inclusion. But that's right, Reddy. So you've gone young, you've gone upside. I've gone for a little bit more consistency, older heads, players that I know can trust. But that's a different way of looking at it. Let us know.
Yes, get involved.
Let us know. Send us your comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on Reddy's top 50, my top 50, and we'll give our verdict in October.